Hello, welcome back. This is going to be day 6 of 30 of the 30-day creative and transformational guide that I am creating that goes along with the creative and transformational journal. If you're following along, day 6 is going to be pretty simple. I won't overcomplicate things. Day 6 is about thinking about what your monthly priorities are. So you may see yourself talking about paying bills monthly or reaching out to people. And I have a area of weekly themes where you can choose from, on your first week of the month, you want to identify who you are, what you're going for in your daily look, your daily feel, your mindset, your growth. Week 2 is about the material things. So maybe buying yourself or focusing in on what it is you actually want to buy yourself before you purchase it. You may even want to write things down and cross them out at the end, towards the end of the month or towards your next 30 days so that you don't impulsively spend. Week 3 is going to be about your relationships. You may want to connect to people on week 3. You may want to send out thank you letters once a month to everybody from your previous month. May even want to date if you're single, or set a luxury date for somebody that you're currently with where you guys intentionally dress up once a month, Week 4 is going to be about your subconscious, your transformation. What is it that you need to change in your life? Your legacy. Now, you don't have to actually look at any of these weekly things. You don't have to put it in the order that I am suggesting, but I am attempting to break things up in a way that you can see different areas of where you like to grow or transform from where you are currently. See, just because I don't have any friends and I'm good, I'm well off. Well, if you, and this is my opinion, I'm not trying to bash anybody. I never want to put that out there that's what I'm going after. But the people who speak the loudest about, I don't have no friends and I don't need nobody. Well, okay, sure. But you may need connections at some point in your life. Why not just keep your connections? You don't have to be friends with everybody, but you may want to have your acquaintances or your clients. You might want to send them nice thank yous versus that's a different attitude, okay? Your attitude is going to change how people perceive you. So it's not always about you, and what you have going on, but it's about making other people feel comfortable around you. For the people who feel like, I don't need friends, you act like you don't need friends, and nobody actually really wants to be around you. We just don't care enough to tell you. And that's just from my perspective. I do have a level of being around quite a few different, personalities, and it's the one who speaks the most about certain topics, especially when they're brought up in a group setting. Because, for one, we're not your therapist. We actually don't need to know any of that information. You could actually leave it to yourself or write it in your journal. So you have to be cautious when you're constantly saying the same things out loud, like you want other people to hear you saying it, almost like you don't believe it, or you want them to change your mind or your idea about whatever the topic is. When you get to that level of looking inside and seeing what it is that's making you feel whatever which way, this is going to be the day that you sit with yourself, Of course, this is day 6, so we've already done what? We've already set our foundation for today. And there's probably some things that you've jotted down in your journal or things that crossed your mind while you were praying or even in meditation. You've already been through your finances. You know exactly what you're lacking in and what you're doing great in that area. Day 3 is about your scripting. So you've probably already went over your scripts. Maybe you have a brand new script that you've written about that has come across your mind while you're doing your daily life. And you've had, extra scripts written in there. And you've done the schedule from day 4. You've learned what it is to set a goal and how to break it down and measure it and all that good stuff. So day 6 is about listing 10 goals that you have for yourself for this month. It's never too late. Your goal could literally be complete this 30-day guide. It's not difficult, right? But it does take discipline to wake up every day and be very intentional on the steps you take on your path to your purpose, right? If you're always doing the same thing, let's switch it up. If you're always doing your hair this way, switch it up. You may have a goal of finding a new hairstyle. You don't have to commit to the hairstyle, but set that vision board. Think of those ideas. Check out different hair shapes with people with similar face structures, right? You may want to go for a bob, but then you do a little research and you see somebody with a cute pixie. Do that work. And I don't want to talk about anybody's specifics, so I won't use anybody's name or how I know them, but a client looks so cute to me when they wear their hair in finger waves. There is just a different aura. There is just a different vibe before she speaks her mind. Those finger waves, they pop on her, and I'm always like, oh my goodness, I wish I had a little tiny head. I got a long face with a big forehead, so it's like if I had a little cute, and she has these really big, big puppy eyes. And then when she puts her makeup on, oh my goodness, it's always a nice, fresh look. But then when she does those finger waves, I'm always thinking like, oh my goodness, red will look good on you. Like a money green will look good on you. Like a nice soft pink. She has so many options. And every time I see her in her finger waves, I'm just like a little, I'm a fan. I'm like her biggest fan when it comes to her and her hairstyles. And I do that because I know that it wouldn't look the best on me, or I wouldn't have the level of aura she has. So think about, maybe somebody has always told you look the best with this style, but you want to switch it up in a way that makes you feel like you've come up with the design for yourself. There's so many things in this world that you can get into. There's so many things that you can get out of. You may be dealing with addiction. You may be dealing with overspending. You may be dealing with family problems. And I'm not telling you that you have to be friends with your family or even maintain a daily contact with them. But you may just want to find a day once a week or once a month to say, hello, how are you all doing? I just want to check in, say hello, I'm doing all right, and let it be that. Now, in my family group chat, I probably will never get a response from that. Probably I have one sister who will probably respond to that, and then everybody else will pretend they don't see the text until they see me in person, and then it's like, oh yeah, remember that text you sent? I'm doing good, all right? So, being intentional here is to set you up for success. And I have you list them 1 through 10. So you'll want to do your most important things at the top of the list and leave some things towards the bottom that you could live without for this month. And then that way, what happens is I have you circle your top 3, so we are prioritizing those top 3s. And that could be even like creating your business plan, building your website from scratch, hiring photographers for your whatever it is you're putting yourself out there for. There are ways to put your life in motion that I don't think we talk about at all. You know, everybody's about manifesting, and that's fine, but faith without works is dead. You still have to be working here and there to make sure you're handling all the things that need to be handled to get you to where you're going. So if you're going to be an astronaut and you don't know Jeff Bezos personally, you may have to actually sit down and look at those steps of, okay, I need to go to training for X amount of weeks. You go find that training class, you sign up for it. Okay, that class, the next class is going to be 3 years out. You set that calendar 3 years out to make sure you apply on time. And you never give up on yourself, because what happens is life happens, things change, and you're never quite fully exactly where you're supposed to be because you've gotten distracted. You've let in a lot of different outside influences, and this is a way to really pay attention to exactly what it is you're seeking. That's pretty much it. The only thing that's on this page, if you have not purchased it, is just the big 3 filter where you list your 10 goals, you circle your top 3, you cross out the bottom 3, and then weekly themes to kind of get your brain moving to say, how can I work or be better in these areas? And then there's a blank space for you to write out anything that you may want to plan. Okay, I want to do this on this date and this on this date. And then the best thing to do is to move it into your calendar, because once you move into the calendar, it's almost like setting that last step before things really need to take off. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Tomorrow, it starts phase 2 of this plan, where we will be building ourselves, all the things that we've worked on prior. It is going to get kicked off into really taking those intentional steps every single day, not making it too difficult on ourselves. I know I said yesterday there's going to be some people who's going to want to be able to fly through this in one day. That's fine if that's your energy level. But if you're a person who's always distracted or not very disciplined, you may want to take it step by step so you don't overwhelm yourself or potentially burn yourself out. All right, well, that's pretty much it. My name is LaStephanie. Please call me LA. I am selling this workbook as a PDF that you can purchase through Etsy. I've been thinking about it. I think I just need to add the Etsy listing, add the file directly to the Etsy listing, because right now I have been, there's a sheet that you download, and that sheet has the link to the Google document. But I think that's too much. I'll just go ahead and add a simple thing, because the initial setup was for the first drop that happened. All right. Outside of that, that's all I have. Or maybe I don't. Maybe that's not all. This is going to be my very last thing I'm going to say. I'm going to let y'all go. First of all, if you made it this far, thank you so much for being here. It really does mean a lot. If anybody is listening to this, please like, comment, share, bookmark, all those good things. If you're seeing this on TikTok, if you are in YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to this so you can be notified every time something new regarding this drops. And what I was thinking when I was speaking earlier is I don't know if this is the right time or not, but the world right now is going through a transformational change on its own. And right now feels to me like the same thing that happened around 2020. 2020 was a place of reset, a moment to sit down and actually build whatever you wanted to build step by step. I think we are about to go through a very, I don't want to say scary, a very different way of living, being, changing, transforming, just a flow of different emotions that's going to be coming. And I believe that the people who are prepared for those emotions, whether it's learning how to regulate or finding something to be comforted in, those who utilize social media to showcase that, they are going to be the ones to build that following from scratch. More people are going to fall in love with who you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. I say 3 to 5 years, and that's me being generous. I think that this is something that if you were to be affected today by the tariffs or traveling and something going awry, I think that being able to, be a little vulnerable or as vulnerable as you're comfortable with and building the tempo in what's coming in your life, what's happening in your life. These are going to be our next influx of influencers, because we already have this whole Diddy situation going on. It's about to be into going to, what is it called, court? Going to jury? Going to trial. Forgive me. With him and what's going on there, I can see a lot of celebrities being brought down to a less than celebrity level. Some of them may disappear. Some of them may never want to be in a spotlight again. So we are going to need new entertainment, new drama series, new whatever you are seeing in the world now, new Netflixes, new Tubi, more Tubi, right? Which is people who are building these platforms for specific purposes. It's going to be their time to shine. So you have something that's called a service as a site, a SaaS. If you are tech savvy in any way and potentially have an idea that will help multiple people, you will then be able to charge others for that. If you can hop in on this trend now, you will be further along in the next couple of years. It is time for us to stop thinking about next hour and start thinking about next decade. Who do you see yourself in the next decade? Who do you see yourself as in the next 2 decades, right? If you are shooting to become a millionaire, think about it. Is millionaire going to be such a high title if everything becomes digital? If everything becomes digital and people are able to manipulate the numbers and not really a physical, know what I mean? Like something digital can be transferred over no wires. It's going to be coming in like rain. There will be billionaires, trillionaires. If you know exactly what you're going for. Anywho, that's all I have for right now. Thank you for listening. Please make sure that you support me in some way. I have a donation button on my website now. I hope to hear from somebody and hearing their reviews about what's going on, things that they have changed by the end of the 30 days. I did not bring on anybody on this journey because I feel like I'm always the person to get everybody else fired up about their lives. And it's time for those people to start pouring into me and being fired up about what I got going on. But I'm not forcing it on anybody. You have to understand everybody has your own lives. So what you're doing is for you. And as long as it's for you, put out there whatever it is that you like. You heard it here first. Your favorite projector bestie. Outside of that, you have a wonderful day and thank you for listening. Be blessed.